Expect before midnight Friday night. Joining me now to discuss this is Congressman Buddy Carter. He is a member of the House Budget Committee and the House Committee on Energy and Commerce. He represents the 1st Congressional District of Georgia. Congressman Carter, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Tony, always.
So Congress facing what was already a short week, with Monday being a federal holiday. Votes were to have taken place tonight. That's not going to happen. Are we going to have time to get everything done this week?
Well, what we're going to have time to do, I'm afraid, is to have another short-term CR. And I'm disappointed in that, but it looks to be the only way that we're going to be able to keep the government open. Look, I would much rather close the border and shut down the border than to shut down the government. But at the same time, we have got to get this done. The speaker is proposing another laddered approach where we take the four that were due this Friday, the four appropriations that were due this Friday, and extend them to March the 1st and extend the others to March the 8th. As you just pointed out, the Senate is set to vote on that, and then I think we'll vote on it and probably get it done before Friday and avoid a shutdown. But still doesn't take away from the fact that not only have we got to stop this this out of control spending, but we got to do something about the southern border. It is out of control. More people cross that border during the month of December than ever. Even in November, there was a 236% increase in the number of people who crossed that border than there was in 2020. It's just ridiculous. And not only is it the people who are crossing that illegally, but the drugs, the fentanyl that is crossing that border, that is infesting our communities and killing our Americans, killing 200 people every day. This has got to be stopped. This is just out of control.
You know, there are estimates upwards of 10 million illegal immigrants that have come into the country since the Biden administration came into power. That's a population larger than almost half the states of the country. I mean, there's a huge population that has come in. So let me ask you this, Congressman Carter. There was the supplemental bill. That was the funding for Ukraine that was supposed to be coming over right after Christmas. That seems to be hung up. They can't agree on the border-related language in that bill. What other measure might be before the House where we can address the border issue?
Well, what needs to happen with the border issue is that the Senate needs to pass H.R. 2. That is the most comprehensive and best border bill that we have. We passed it out of the House. It's in the Senate right now. They need to pass it.
But they're not going to take that up. So you're going to have to attach it to a must-pass piece of legislation to get anything done regarding the border, because Schumer's not going to take up that bill.
No, he's not. You're absolutely right. And we're not naive enough to believe he is. But at the same time, that's what needs to happen.
Yes.
But at the same time, to your question, what can we do? Well, we can attach any funding, whether it be supplemental or for the budget as a whole, that we're going to have changes. Going to have changes in our policies toward the border. We're going to have to shut down that border. Not only are we going to have changes, and yes, we're going to have more money, but it's more than just throwing money at it. And it's more than just changes in policy. It's enforcing the law that's already on the books. That's what this administration needs to be doing.
Right. So let me ask you this, Congressman Carter. Is this issue of the border, as you've clearly outlined, it's impacting the entire nation. Is this something worth having the fight in shutting down government if the Democrats won't move on this issue?
I think it is, and a lot of my colleagues think it is too. It is without question. And when I go back to the district, they're talking about two things primarily. One is inflation. Prices are just killing people these days.
Right.
But the other is the border. That's what they're interested in. That's what they want to see stop.
Well, that's very interesting, Congressman, because last night in the Iowa caucuses, I mean, that's all the way up north, the number one issue and I'm going to talk about this later in the program, number one issue for caucus goers was immigration. That's followed by the economy.
That's it. That's exactly right, Tony. And when you think about it, every state is a border state. We're being impacted. Every state in this country is being impacted by what's going on at that southern border, whether it be the fentanyl crisis or whether it be the illegals who are being shipped to every state. who every state's having to work with these, and even the blue states. You know what's going on in New York now? They're sending them to New Jersey.
Let me ask you about the fentanyl issue, because you're a pharmacist. You understand what's happening in that world, the pharmaceutical world. How acute is this problem of overdoses that are connected to fentanyl? What's driving this?
What's driving it is the amount of fentanyl that's available now and the amount of drugs that are available over the internet. People are getting them. Let me encourage any young person who is listening right now, watching this program, please don't ever take anything that you don't know where it came from, that you don't know that it came from a registered pharmacy. Please don't take it. I'll give you a quick story, Tony. I was, and I know better than this, but I was at a town hall meeting and I referred to it as fentanyl overdose. And a mother corrected me, as she should have. And she said, no, sir, it's not fentanyl overdose. It's fentanyl poisoning. She said, my son took one pill and he's dead. That's poison.
And it's coming across our southern border. That is wide open. I want to make sure the record is straight here, Congressman Carter, because when we talk about the House, passing these bills, going over to the Senate, and the Senate's not doing anything. And then you have Chuck Schumer, who I call the Senate scare leader, getting up talking about government shutdowns. The House has actually passed, if I'm not mistaken, 7 of the 12 appropriations bills. The Senate, how many have they passed?
They've not passed any out of the full Senate, and then they've passed, I believe, all of them out of committee, but none of them out of the full Senate. So we've still got some work to do. I'm convinced and I'm confident that we can get the rest of them done if we set our mind to it. But we're not going to do it unless we have some cuts in the budget and real savings, not just this, not just proposed savings, but real savings in the budget. And also when we secure that border, those two things have to be done. When I'm at home, people are asking me all the time, how can you justify sending money to another country to secure their border when our border's not secure? And Tony, I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, it's a great question. It's common sense. I mean, that's most Americans, the vast majority, I would say, have basic common sense that no, we need to take care of our country first, which would be securing the border, keeping those who want to do harm to us from coming in before we can help anybody else. It's like when you're on the airplane. Before you put the mask on somebody else, you put it on yourself.
That's a good analogy, and it's what people are demanding in our districts. That's what they're saying. Stop this. Stop this. This is crazy. And then they want us to stop this out of control spending as well. If you look at our budget right now, we are, the federal government is spending all total with revenues and everything over $6.4 trillion a year. I mean, that's almost $204,000 a second. The speed of light is only 186 miles a second. We're spending money faster than the speed of light.
And we're not getting anywhere. In fact, we're moving backwards. Final question for you, Congressman Carter. Does the House get it done? Does Congress get it done this week? Or and I don't think a shutdown is not the end of the world. It's only a partial shutdown and most people won't even notice it. Is that still on the table? Is it within the realm of possibilities?
Oh, there's no question about it. It's very much on the table. And the probability is high that may indeed happen. And good points you made. It won't be the whole government, but it will be 4 different agencies, 4 different areas, if you will. And that's significant.
Yeah. Congressman Buddy Carter, always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining